Everybody who lives in New York City and wants to own a vintage car or has a vintage car which they keep out of the city would love to have a garage. It's all our dreams. We want a garage. We want to be able to go downstairs and have the car there, you know, your own garage, but very, very few people have that. I think a lot of people are afraid to drive their vintage car in New York City. That always makes me a little crazy. It's like, it's a car. And people drove these cars in the city all the time when they were new. So you can drive your car in the city. Nothing's really going to happen to it. No one's going to hit it any more than they're going to hit it in some mall parking lot or by mistake in front of your house or wherever you safely keep it. You know what I mean? You're not going to destroy the car by taking it into New York City. So I don't have a problem driving vintage cars in New York City, but I know people who won't, no matter how slight their car is, won't take it here. I don't need a car. I do not get in a car to go to work. I don't get in a car to go shopping. I don't get in a car to pick up my kids. I don't ever need to get in a car unless I want to get in a car. So every time I get in a car, it's by choice. So actually, if I'm in traffic or whatever happens, or something's going on and makes going in and out of the city a little difficult, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm in the car because I chose to be there because I enjoy driving around. I really like to explore. I mean, the idea of a car is not just a car, not just how you feel when you're in your car for me, but it's also where you get to go. You get to go someplace. So you get to go somewhere interesting, somewhere you haven't been, and it's an opportunity that it's a reason, it's something that pushes you to go to some area of this region that I haven't been to. So I've explored New Jersey and Connecticut, and those things sound corny or weird to people, like what's to explore, but there is a lot of really cool stuff. It's a trade-off, and New York is a really interesting place. It's a really dynamic place. So there's a lot going on, and the trade-off is it makes everything's more difficult. Do you know what I mean? But that difficulty makes it kind of, in a way, more worthwhile. You don't take it for granted. Even nature, like we're in this area, this is pretty bucolic for New York City, but still, you know what I mean? But when you go out in nature, it's incredible. It's wonderful. And you can go, half an hour, 45 minutes and take a hike in the woods. And so it makes it a much more intense experience. Same with driving your car, your vintage car. It's much more of an intense experience, I think, because you can't just do it. You have to work for it.
Owning a car in New York City can be difficult sometimes. To get to my car, I have to take a shuttle. I have to walk from my dorm to the shuttle bus to the Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory, which is in my hometown of Palisades, New York. I walk down the hill, go to the garage, and get my car. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to walk to the shuttle. From the shuttle to Palisades is about 20 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic. And then I walk down the hill, which is 15 minutes. Not quite as easy as stepping out and just jumping into your car that's in your garage. Most people don't get it, but I think I'm so enthusiastic about it that it rubs off on most of my friends. I definitely get mocked for it, though. One of my friends has a pretty good impression of me, where he says, "Let's go on a day trip, let's go to Boston, let's go drive a pickup that I restored last summer." It's definitely, there are a lot of jokes at my expense. The joke is definitely on them, though. It's such a pleasure to drive a car. It's great to just go home whenever you want and to just drive it around. In the city, you don't always need a car. You usually don't need a car. But I do think it's a shame that people don't get more excited about cars. Maybe, new cars aren't particularly exciting, and maybe it has something to do with that. I'm definitely jealous of all the old car lovers in California. They can drive their cars whenever they want. When I'm going through my ritual to get my car, to get out of the city to Rockland County, I just think about how much fun it's going to be to drive it. It's slightly cliched, but it's really worth the experience. It's worth the time. It's a very small commitment.
You know, it's harder than walking out to your garage, but I don't think it's that bad. So I have to walk to the subway, take the train 3 stops. It's an express stop. It's really not that bad. And then walk from the west side to the east side up along 125th, which is always, not an adventure, but always fun. Once I was carrying a spare front frame head up 125th to the car to get replaced. And these guys are walking behind me, and because I'm not going fast, I'm carrying this like huge thing of metal. And they walk past me, and the guy turns around and he says, "Hey man, if you're gonna steal something you can sell." So it's always a fun time getting in the car. And yeah, I have to go up the back way of some supermarket to get in here, but it's fun. You know, it's different than the cabs that you see most every day. People kind of freak out a little bit, you know. It's the only bug they see in a while. Saw one guy give someone else a slug bug. That cracked me up. Yeah, people come out, they stare, they walk by, give you thumbs up. People come by and, or especially around the corner, people yell and ask to rev the engine. And, you know, you're driving down the street and some old guy sticks his head out of a cab. He's like, you know, I had a 67 back in the day. And so, yeah, it's people kind of like the car. My coworker was making fun of me because he said it's a car for the dunes, and you know, there are zero dunes in New York. So yeah, it's a car built for the desert, and I am in indeed the least deserty, most urban spot in the country. So when you see another vintage car owner, there's absolutely a bond. They're few and far between, but you kind of freak out, you know, if it's an old muscle car, if it's another bug. I was just driving up the street, and there is this parking lot. The guy who's got the lot just comes out and he like waves me in, and I'm like going into this parking garage in Harlem with some total stranger. But we just get chatting and we look at all of his cars, and you know, nothing but respect for each other. Owning a vintage car in the city, it's not as difficult as I thought it would be. You know, it's just hilarious. You go around dicing with the cabs. It's a great way to spend an afternoon.